Hakeem Jeffries went on CNN. This is the question he gets asked every time. Every time he's asked about endorsing Zoran Mamdani, and he gets a little bit more prickly every time. Now, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I'm about to. When I went on MSNBC and I said that he should be primaried, Zoran won his district by 12 points in the largest turnout in the history of New York City primaries. I said that if you can't harness that grassroots energy because you're more worried about AIPAC donors, then there should be a formidable primary challenge against you. And they'll do well, given if Zoran endorses, he won Jeffries' district by 12 points. That kind of made some rounds, saw it was getting some attention, saw Jeffries being repeatedly tagged. I would not be shocked if he saw that clip. In fact, I'd bet on it.
Oh, yeah. It'd be incompetent to not be aware of what's being said about you on MSNBC.
And it keeps getting recirculated like over a week later. And I just say that because he seems a little prickly.
You have yet to endorse Zoran Mamdani, who, of course, your party elected about 2 months ago to be the Democratic candidate for mayor of New York City. As a New Yorker, what does he need to do to secure your endorsement?
Well, we had a very candid and constructive and community-centered conversation a few weeks ago before he went off to Africa. I've, of course, been on the road for the last several weeks.
Wait, what? Go back.
With the Republican.
A little bit of
That's not just a non-endorsement. That's a dig.
That's a backtrack from where he was, which is keeping it open. A little dig about the going off to Africa. That is him opening the door a little bit more for Cuomo or whoever.
Well, we had a very candid and constructive and community-centered conversation a few weeks ago before he went off to Africa. I've, of course, been on the road for the last several weeks, dealing in part with the Republican effort to try to rig the midterm elections through their gerrymandering scheme. But Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, and myself are scheduled to sit down with him in the next few days. I look forward to that conversation.
What do you want to?
Jeffries went to Israel in April.
I had that ready, actually. Let's talk about that. This is from which GNS is like Jewish News Service or something like that. Jeffries leading bipartisan House trip to Israel, Jordan. In the Middle East, the group will meet this is in April, with senior officials in Israel and Jordan to discuss the challenges that exist with Iran and its proxies. So he went to Israel to talk about bombing Iran. But yeah, Zoran took a little break after a trouncing Cuomo running on the same type of politics you have, Hakeem.
To celebrate his marriage.
Right. And as like, where's Cuomo been? He's been like,
in the Hamptons. We're going to say Zoran didn't have good work ethic in this race. Basically, that's the implication. Outside of the xenophobia, classy. Invoking also the Congressional Black Caucus here, as if Zoran has issues with black voters. No, he has issues with older conservative black voters in many ways in some parts of the city where he didn't win them in the same numbers that he overwhelmingly won other groups, including winning a majority of Jewish voters as the Democratic establishment screams anti-Semitism, in part because there are church-based or faith-based communities in parts of New York City that are a little bit more conservative, with older black people in it,
and more embedded in the machine,
and more transactional with endorsements and with past historical relationships with Andrew Cuomo. But that's changing.
Yeah, look at all the unions and even politicians who were riding the fence before Zoran won, who immediately folded in when Zoran didn't, including the one guy who was the LimeWire founder, who's like, look, I donated $250,000 to Cuomo. Don't get me wrong. I'm not an enthusiastic supporter of the guy. I'm just trying to do business.
Obama understood this and gave him a call, knowing Obama is outflanking Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer right now.
They just spoke one African to another.
Right, with African socialists.
He just wanted some travel tips. Back to both of our homelands. Did you find my birth certificate when you went there?
You know,
Zoran?
people should follow at Prof. Jeffries. This is Hakeem Jeffries' brother, who is actually a big Zoran supporter.
Pretty cool guy.
Cool guy. And I mean, the thing is with Hakeem Jeffries, it's an open secret that there's a family history that I believe Jeffries' uncle, there's some sort of Nation of Islam type of ideology, I believe, and early on in Hakeem Jeffries' career, AIPAC said, hey, do you want us to sink you with this and put this around your neck forever? And Hakeem Jeffries said, I will rather be a pliant politician for y'all. I will rather soak the Democratic Party in the blood of genocide because I want to be in power. And that's why we are where we are right now. He leads the Democrats in the House. And he did it out of cold personal opportunism.
That is the vetting process, though.
Yep, exactly. That's how it works. That's how you vet candidates. That's why that's why Congress. That's why the party looks like how it is today, because years and years of selective pressures, accelerated by a post-Citizens United freeing up of these sorts of,
Explosion of money in our politics, corrupting money. Yep.
This is where you have Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer leading the party that's supposed to be the good guys.
And I know people may disagree with this point, but it's why there is already, in my view, a drop-off with Pelosi, regardless of our major issues with her. Her partisanship was much stronger than this. She came from an era of politics prior to this. Now, it was a more conservative political belief in stuff like austerity that we hate. But God, that woman hated the Republicans. And we could use a little bit of that in leadership right now. I mean, Harry Reid, too. Like, that class, it's both toothless, corrupted, ineffective, and a drain on the party. There's nothing positive except for their view of like how Hakeem Jeffries can garner fundraising. But we already know that Democratic fundraising is basically collapsing right now. There's even the big money people are like, this is the horse I want to bet on? Hell no. So even their own like stated objectives, and Schumer's being, I want to keep the Democrats pro-Israel, which is not his job, but he says that's his job.
To Brett Stevens. He's
failing at that too. 8% of Democrats support Israel's actions right now. This is what our corrupt campaign finance system has wrought.
The Republicans actually brought this up a little bit a while ago, but this explains why Jeffries is so in the bag for Israel, because that's what got him to the dance. if he wasn't, Israel wasn't going to pay for him to be in this position. I'm going to play this, Brian.
Yeah.
Republicans are going after you in a new ad. They're going after the op-ed you wrote in college defending your uncle and the comments you made about black conservatives. Do you stand behind the arguments you made in that op-ed, and do you stand behind the comments your uncle has made about Jewish people?
Well, first of all, I think I've made clear consistently that I do not share any of the controversial views that were expressed by my uncle more than 3 decades ago. Not now, not ever. And equally significant, as I've said, my track record in public service and professionally for more than 2 decades of bringing people together and standing up for every single community, including the black and Jewish communities that I proudly represent in Brooklyn, speaks for itself.
This is an interesting pattern, to bring it back to Obama with, the whole freak out in the 2008 race about, what was the name of the Reverend Wright? Yeah. Kamala Harris had a father that was pretty radical. And she got into politics much less so.
Honestly, Jeffries is the worst of all of them.
She is. I mean, he is, of course, because this like
Right is fine.
because the AIPAC stuff is so insanely like transparent here.
And Donald Harris is fine. It would be nice if they were more influenced.
Exactly, but the point is that that's like maybe a part of some of the vetting, like or the who knows if it's personal psychology of like wanting to be in opposition to that, or if it's chicken or the egg. But like,
Well, Buttigieg also has.
that was the other one,
Yeah.
Buttigieg. Yeah. Which name do you have a harder time with, Buttigieg or Epstein?
I'll never say Buttigieg. It's too long.
Same amount of syllables.
Exactly the
I resent the T-shirts they made where it said "boot edge edge."
Yes.
But Epstein. Did I get it right?
Yes, you got it right.
There you
I
go.
have high hopes for you.
But yeah, that's why Hakeem.
Buttigieg pun.
That's why Hakeem Jeffries
Yes.
is who he is, and
And-
that's why he's not going to get better
And
because he couldn't be there if he wasn't.
Yeah. While we're on the topic, I meant to get to this when we were speaking about Trump trying to fire the governor, the Fed governor, Lisa Cook. But this is just like, I know that this statement may seem boilerplate to people, but this was what Jeffries said, his official statement as the top House Democrat about the firing of Lisa Cook. To recap, she was appointed in 2022 as the Federal Reserve governor. Trump is attacking her because he's trying to bully the Fed into lowering interest rates. But also he's been like systematically targeting black people in positions of power, and particularly black female federal workers in positions of prominence, like Carla Hayden, Librarian of Congress, the first, I think, either black woman or black person in general to lead it, but also Gwen Wilcox of the NLRB, and now Lisa Cook of the Federal Reserve. And so I don't have an issue with the first part of Jeffrey's statement pointing out the racism. Like, I am not somebody that thinks, if we could put this up here, that you can't make a class argument while also pointing out, like, I mean, this administration this is 2-bit clan shit. Like, going after black people and purging them from government. So this part, Dr. Lisa Cook is the first black woman to ever serve on the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. Donald Trump is trying to remove her without a shred of credible evidence that she has done anything wrong. Okay, I'm fine with that. But listen to this. This is just, to the extent anyone is unfit to serve in a position of responsibility because of deceitful and potentially criminal conduct, it is the current occupant of the White House. So, okay, this is a lib thing where they don't say Trump's name or something. I don't...
He who must not be named ass.
Yeah, fucking Voldemort or something.
Yeah.
Like the Babadook. Don't say it 3 times or he'll appear and he'll win the election again. Oh, wait. The American people are not buying your phony projection and slander of a distinguished public servant. You idiot. You already pointed out that she was, okay, fired. You could have made a better case for how racist it is, but you pointed out that she was the first black woman ever, whatever. All right, fine. The next part is, to the extent anyone is unfit to serve in a position of responsibility. First of all, this sentence sucks. To the extent anyone is unfit to serve in a position of responsibility because of deceitful and potentially criminal conduct, repeating his baseless accusations against Cook, is the current occupant of the White House. Okay, roundabout way of saying he's a criminal. The American people are not buying your phony projection and slander of a distinguished public servant. Why is the entirety of the statement about her public service? Nobody knows who Lisa Cook is. It's a racist action. Exactly. Point that out. Now, I was told that the party only wants to focus on kitchen table issues at the expense of trans kids, at the expense of like social issues that they claim are too thorny, at the expense of inclusive language. That's what they're saying. But there's no effort to include the fact that the attack on the Fed's independence is to distract from the fact that Donald Trump is crashing our economy, the fact that this is a part of his authoritarian takeover of an independent central bank so that he can bend it to his will because he wants to get rich and he wants to heat up the economy so that him and his buddies can continue to steal money from the rest of us?
Yeah.
How do you not make this about economic policy? Trump is killing your retirement. Put that in bold letters right there. Trump is waging war on the Fed's independence, essential to the bedrock of our economy. Are you worried you're about to retire in 2 or 3 years? Do you have a 401k? Well, good luck, because Trump is playing politics with the economy and he's covering it up. But instead we get norms. Norms. Norms is the center of this argument. To the extent anyone is unfit to serve, and like it's about you're now talking about the false accusations of her against her and making this central to your argument when it's self-evident that he's doing this politically, and you could have incorporated that into your critique of the system.
He actually he credits it too much. The second sentence, Donald Trump is trying to remove her without a shred of credible evidence. The reason there's not a shred of credible evidence is he's making it up.
Exactly.
Donald Trump is remove her using a pretext because he wants a different policy from the Fed. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. And he's targeting, and yes, he's targeting her first because she's a black woman.
I don't know how you don't. I mean, And this is where I'm like, okay, but here's the top comments you could probably do with mentioning the economic calamity ending Fed independence would cause. But all right, man, that's exactly right. And I don't even understand it because this is not even material. Like, we're not even asking you here to talk about taxing the rich or anything like that. This is about the economy humming. Well, what? No, I didn't.
We didn't even get to this actually last week.
My God.
Asked about Trump's deployment of military and other federal authorities in D.C. Here's Hakeem Jeffries' response here. This is on the Bulwark.
I think the D.C. Attorney General issued a strong letter making it clear that, in his view, in the assessment of the authorities in the District of Columbia, whoever Donald Trump seeks to install allegedly to run the Metropolitan Police Department of Washington, D.C., has no authority, and that they should continue to take direction solely from the police chief of the Metropolitan Police Department in Washington, D.C. I thought that was a strongly worded letter. He cited a lot of statutory provisions. I think
How do you use the phrase strongly worded letter and not realizing people use that phrase
to make fun
about
of you?
fecklessness? Yeah. No, I thought it was a strongly worded letter. I'm agreeing with you.
This guy represents one of the bluest districts in the country. There is no reason we should have Hakeem Jeffries in power. None. Zero. There's no front line you got to worry about. Means nothing. Means nothing. DSA could mount a challenge against him, and it's going to be a real fight for him. If he keeps going down this road, we'll see. He's probably going to say, okay, well, then we'll primary the DSA electeds. Well, good luck, because those are safe blue districts in many ways. And that's part of why this has been the target of past, Justice Democrats and also DSAs is yeah, these are left-wing districts. We'll run left-wing people in them. Let's see how it goes. I'm just in awe of his incompetence. Most of the time, I'm ready to chalk it up to him being bought. But the Fed independence thing, there's nothing he has the backing of the financial institutions that want the Fed to be independent and don't want Trump messing with employment data. We're seeing how the markets are responding. This is your very narrow lane, Jeffries. How do you not land the plane? Okay. Anyway,
Got a perfect landing strip on the top of his head.
Oh. All right, we'll get out of here. Luke from Oregon. Jeffries' statement and Pete Buttigieg's statement on Palestine are the same word salad bullshit. Not Nick Fuentes. This bit about sending strongly worded letters is getting tired. Who does Hakeem think he is? Carlito Schumer? Who gave him the idea? Amy Schumer?
Oh, if it's strongly worded letters you want.
Iowan Ryan. When I worked for Bernie, there weren't really any Pete Buttigieg efforts going on. On the day of the Iowa caucuses, some houses in town erected a very large picture of Pete removing his tie. I think it was supposed to be because it looks like Superman. I remember being kind of offended by it.
Yeah, the folks who get enthusiastic about Pete Buttigieg, they are the soulless climbers. They are the people who would have been Clintonites in the 90s.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.